welcome to Weather HQ. I'm Paolo del Rosario. This week, we've explored a variety of subjects, including the recent launch of a multi-species marine hatchery in Bataan and the important function that seed savers provide in promoting a sustainable future. To start, here's my interview with Mr. Wilfredo M. Cruz, the Region 3 Director of the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, where we talk about the significant opening of the multi-species marine hatchery in Bagak, Bataan and its influence on local marine conservation and aquaculture.
Actually, ang multi-species, ito yung tinatawag na legislated hatchery projects na hindi lang naman ng Bataan. Nagsimula ito sa Quezon. So, during the time, the incumbency of now Governor Joet Garcia, siya yung congressman natin noon. So, he sponsored a bill which is which became a RA 11912 na establishment ng multi-species hatchery sa Bagak, Bataan. So doon po nagsimula lahat at yun nga po na nagkaroon ng katuparan. So ngayon ay operational na ang ating multi-species hatchery sa Bagak, Bataan.
Sir, yung hatchery po na to, normally sinasabi po natin yet yung goal is yung sustainability. Sustainability sa agrikultura po natin, aquaculture po natin. How can this promote yung sustainability po sa aquaculture dyan sa Bataan in particular?
Yes po. As we all know naman po, Bataan is one of the leading provinces in terms of aquaculture production. So, particularly the towns of Orani, Hermosa. So we need a lot of fingerlings, and being also the national focal person for Bangus program, at the moment we import about 60% of our fry needs, Bangus fry requirement from Indonesia. So these legislated hatcheries, of course, will answer the problems on our fry requirements in the country. And the Bagak multi-species hatchery is one of those 57 multi-species hatcheries in our country. Yan po.
Sir, when we talk about yung hatchery po nito, some people are wondering kung climate resilient po ito because aquaculture has been affected by climate change in general. Yung hatchery po nito, are we able to say that it is climate resilient?
Yes, definitely. Number one, it is placed in those higher grounds po. So definitely hindi siya mabaha. And it is a concrete hatchery. So meaning talagang resilient siya in terms of mga typhoons natin. Even possibly kung hindi naman malalakas yung earthquake. And it is a full solar hatchery. So pwede stand-alone siya. It is a stand-alone multi-species hatchery which is operating on its own solar power source. Yeah.
Sir, may challenges po ba yan, yung fully solar-powered yung facility po nito?
Ang ano lang yan, of course, yung ating namang mga solar panels, matagal yan. Possibly, mga batteries, which are madali lang naman silang palitan.
Sir, can we talk about how this affects the local communities in terms of ensuring na there's always high quality na fingerlings for them to actually help actually grow sa mga operators po natin sa aquaculture? How does yung hatchery na to affect the local communities po?
Of course, initially there are two species identified to be bred in the multi-species hatchery, which are bangus and of course our freshwater prawn, yung ulang. So marami po. We have a lot of bangus funds in our municipalities, particularly sa Orani and Hermosa. And of course, meron tayong broodstock dyan, marami tayong broodstock. And definitely there will be a surplus of eggs. So we started also a larval rearing facility dyan din sa Bagak na merong isang organization dyan na yung excess na eggs, sila naman ang pwedeng mag-alaga from eggs to fry for the consumption din ng ating mga fish farmers dyan sa probinsya ng Bataan. Kung sobra, even sa provinces ng Zambales and Bulacan.
Direk Willie, if I'm not mistaken, there is a 2-year transition period wherein yung local personnel po ay mag-handle po ng facility. Can you tell us a bit more about yung mga programa po ninyo to educate the local personnel for yung transition period po na to?
Yes, based on the memorandum of agreement, the facility will be run by BFAR for the first 2 years. But during these first 2 years, there is already an immersion from the part of the provincial local government unit. Na later, the local government unit will run the project. So meron siyang smooth transition as operationalization is concerned. Yeah.
Direk Willie, if I'm not mistaken, may private component din po to in terms of the partnership for the development of yung hatchery na to?
Yes, initially kasi there is a very difficulty in identifying suitable site, and through the effort of our Governor Joet, so nagkaroon ang isang private company ang nag-donate ng 1 hectare area. Ito po yung Shermac. So there is a collaboration, kumbaga private-public partnership ang nangyari dito sa project na to.
Direk, when we talk about yung long-term vision po ng mga marine hatcheries na like this, the one in Bataan, na-mention nyo po that there is a reliance on imports coming from Indonesia. How long or how many more facilities like this do you think the Philippines needs to be able to reduce yung reliance po on yung imports coming from other countries?
We have about 57, though I guess 27 are the first to operationalize, but we have still a lot of hatcheries to be operationalized. I guess, and we have already a lot of brood stocks. So we're going to, our target is for up to 2030. We will be self-sufficient as far as bangus fry requirement is concerned.
To reach that goal po, 2030, sinabi niyo po, do we need to open more hatcheries po or just increase yung operational capacity ng mga existing hatcheries po natin?
Yes, ang target natin is enough na yon, but we are going to establish more larval rearing facilities. Mas maliliit na to. Dahil may mga breeders na tayo na about 46,000. Enough na para ma-produce natin yung requirement natin na eggs to produce our 4 billion fry requirement every year.
Sir, na-mention po, we said it was multi-species yung hatchery po na to. Can you give us a list of yung mga species na pinaprioritize ng hatchery po?
Of course, our main species is milkfish. The other, and we have the prawn, and we have also some high-value species like yung sea bass, pompano, and other than that, meron tayong mga crustaceans like yung ating mga shrimp, yung ating mga oyster and mussel. Meron din tayong kasama din sa ibang mga hatcheries na-establish na ng Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources.
Direk Willie, sa region nyo in particular po, are we expecting more hatcheries to come up or any more programs in this line?
We are, depending upon the request of our local, our representatives from the Congress. And pag marami pong nag-request pa na i-approve naman ng Senate, dadami pa yan. But for our, as of now, our assessment is okay na muna yung ating mga dating legislated hatcheries to produce our requirement.
When we come back, a documentary puts a spotlight on the challenges faced by the country's seed savers. Weather HQ will be back soon. back to Weather HQ. I'm Paolo del Rosario. A new documentary is shedding light on one of the nation's most unrecognized heroes, the dedicated seed savers. Here's our engaging interview with Mandy Kua, a co-director of HASIC, where she delves into the crucial role these seed savers play in ensuring a sustainable future for our agriculture sector.
HASIC is Tagalog for to sow, so to throw seeds. So it's about throwing seeds, sowing seeds, and growing. And me and my co-director, so my co-director is Marissa Mejia. We were brainstorming titles and we thought it was perfect because our documentary is about seed saving, but also we want to sow the seeds of knowledge to our viewers for them to potentially do things to come to fruition and for it to grow and spread just like seeds do. But how it came to fruition was, so I also, until a few years ago, didn't know anything about seed saving at all, which is surprising because we're all here. We come from the Philippines, which is a pretty agricultural nation. But when I was in college, this was the summer before my third and fourth year, so the summer before my last year of college, our university was like starting a seed farm. And at that point, I was like, oh, I'm interested in agriculture. I don't know what a seed farm is, but sure, I'll try. I want to farm. Like, I just want to try farming over the summer. So it was 7 of us students because it was from scratch. So the farm was like, it was pretty barren, the land. So we were like tilling, like making the beds, planting, and it was really fulfilling. But I think beyond the physical labor, it was also like very personally enriching because we worked with different community partners. So we worked with Native Americans from the area. We worked with people from DC or the Northeast and like different organizations, farming cooperatives from like people of color and all of that. And the whole point was for our seed farm, so the seed farm at Princeton, what ended up happening was these communities, because for example, the Native Americans around the New Jersey area, their land was poisoned due to like toxic slush that was dumped on their land as tall as the Empire State Building. So as you can tell, that's like very deep, right? Like it's really serious. And so like it even affects their water systems and like their life expectancy because that's where their water is from, that's where they grow their food. So what we did at the Princeton Seed Farm was these communities would kind of give their seeds to us. They would share their seeds with us for us at the Princeton Seed Farm to grow. And these were culturally meaningful crops to them from like a very long time ago, right? Thousands of years ago. And then we would grow their seeds. Once we grew their seeds, we would save the seeds and then hopefully return the seeds. Well, we did, but we want to multiply it even more to return the seeds to the community so that they can spread it to people in their communities. Well,
Mandy, you know, they say here in the Philippines, magtanim ay di biro, diba? So when you transpose that to your experience there to here in the Philippines, just how was that experience like? Because it's similar but not at the same time.
That's actually a perfect follow-up question because like it's a through line to the story. Because when I was there, I was like, how do I, like, by the end of the summer, I knew so much about, like, New Jersey weeds, New Jersey native plants, like, and then the whole point of this is also to reflect on your own seed story. So, like, what is a seed story? So your own seed story is basically thinking of, like, your ancestors, your history, like, the food that fed you to basically make you exist today. Because, I mean, all of our ancestors were agricultural people at some point. And so one of our mentors, Benita, she made us reflect on like, what is your seed story? So she would give us prompting questions like, when you're sick, what does your mom or grandmother feed you? Like culturally, like when you're feeling sad, like what did you eat growing up? Or like in the garden, like with your parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, like what did they plant? What did they eat? And so transposing it here was really interesting because when I was there, I was like, oh, I wonder, I didn't even know. I was like, I wonder what that is for the Philippines because I was so like focused on like the native New Jersey corn. And so
you were a good student.
So it was just really interesting because things do apply and don't apply, right? Like we have our own indigenous people and communities that I quite frankly didn't know much about before this documentary process. And like it was really cool to see like they have similar seed saving processes, but also the climate is different.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
like having to deal with the climate and the processes there are different. And then I think the stories are very different because it's culturally different. So they both experience struggles, some the same, some different, just based on like society, community, the country, the culture. So yeah, I don't know if that.
Well, since we're in the Philippines now, I want to talk about what seeds we're trying to save here in the Philippines. And what have you seen? Because you said in Jersey it was corn, wheat.
Yeah.
So what about here in the Philippines? I have a few that I can think of, but I want to hear you.
Yeah,
what you say.
here there's quite a few. So I think there are lots of different crops, but we have also beans and Baguio in the north. Because again, within the Philippines, from the north, because we went Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, within the Philippines, the climate is also really different.
Right.
So the native seeds change. So from in the north, it's a lot of like beans, veggies. So like they have okra, they have like
Yeah.
different cabbage varieties.
You know, Mandy, I want to just point out the reason why Mo asked that question is because she wants to show off her knowledge of Bahay Kubo.
Vegetables.
But apart from that, but Anne, you know, we were talking a while ago because it's not as much as we talk about seeds, it's really about the people as well.
Yeah. You know, I can just imagine how transformative it is working with these different communities and really immersing yourself in their ways, their culture, their traditions, right? What were the key learnings that you got while making Hasik and learning about these communities? What did you learn about yourself and also about these communities that actually surprised you?
So I think what I learned about the communities was basically, I was like how resilient they are. Like being able to talk to them and hear their stories on their land and hear, like you're really on the land and like, you're like, they talk about their different challenges and struggles that they faced. And then just like being with them and them being so hospitable, so positive and like making food, making sure to like feed us, making sure we were okay when like we were, you know, like welcoming us into their lives and into their stories. Like, I think I was really floored by just like the resilience that every single farmer that we interviewed basically exhibited. And then for myself, in terms of what I learned is how much I still don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like this whole process gave me way more questions than it did answers to continue pursuing. So.
But you know what that means, right? Sequel.
Another documentary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Direct, when we look at the thing that we always say about the Philippines is that it is one of the most biodiverse, it is one of the most ecologically rich nations in the world.
Yes.
And when we talk about seeds of that, I can only imagine, one, the variety, and two, the like, we can eat this moments that you might have had.
Oh, that's such a good question. So that one of our featured farmers, his name is Manong Mac, and a lot of the native things, like I didn't even know the names of everything. Like, and he was saying it in Kankanaoy, so he's Kankanaoy, so in the native language. And then we went on a walk through a forest, and like me and Marissa were just like looking at each other, so shocked because things looked the same to us. He was just like jumping up and down, like picking different things up, like trying it out, like different mushrooms, like testing it, and then we were like, what? Like how? We were like, how does he know the difference? And he was just like cutting things and being like,
He survives the documentary, right?
yeah. He was,
Okay, good.
yeah. He was just like, this is for this medicine, this is for that, like for this medicine
Wow.
we use, for that medicine we use, like this is for this. Yeah, and we were just like so dizzy because even I felt so bad because Marissa's with the camera and he would just like jump down cliffs and up cliffs and she was like, how do I even follow? Like she like, you know,
Yeah.
so yeah. It was very impressive, the knowledge that they have in terms of our native crops. Yeah.
You know, I feel like now kasi we live in a digital age, the age of AI, and sometimes modernization can actually overshadow these traditional ways, like, you know, knowing which herbs to pick and everything. How do you want to inspire, like the young ones, you know, to really honor tradition and culture through Hasik?
Yeah.
I think it goes back to the seed stories. And like, I think it's really beautiful to reflect on your own. But I think it's also a good family community bonding topic of conversation. Because I mean, it could be a simple dinner conversation with your family, like trying to think about and reflect on like, is our seed story? What is my family history? Because I think it goes beyond the seeds itself. Because it's also like Filipino culture, Filipino traditional dishes, Filipino flavors. And then beyond that, it's also like, you know, my ancestors, what did they do? What's their traditions? And it's a gateway to like stories. Stories about grandparents, great-grandparents, parents, you know. And hopefully that will inspire people to think about, okay, what are our seed stories? And maybe hopefully even plant seeds at home and look for the seeds and maybe get to know farmers in their local areas or be more intentional about where you're sourcing your food. Yeah.
You know what? I want to try something, Mo. All right, I want Mandy, because you have you mentioned a while ago you had prompts, and I want to know prompts of
like the prompts
questions
of how the questions that
from
your
professors.
professor told you in Princeton,
right?
About how your seed story came
yeah,
about.
yeah.
So I want to do a little experiment because Mo didn't grow up here.
What?
And she has rediscovered her own roots when she did move here because she did.
This is making me nervous.
Yeah,
It's like
it should make you
putting me on the
nervous.
spot.
Can you give her a few questions and let's try to figure out her seed story, and then we'll try and connect it as well.
Okay, we can try.
All right.
Sometimes it takes long, so hopefully
Okay,
this sparks
yeah,
it. 'Cause
yeah, hopefully.
Sometimes,
Yeah, it made her think.
Yeah,
She
no,
needs like a few
it's
days.
perfect.
no, you should, because I have the prompts, but for you, it could take an hour, it could take a few days,
No, she
months,
loves
and you
eating,
have an
so it'll be
aha.
quick.
Grabe naman.
Plus, I mean, I think for you too,
right.
you can try to think. So some of the prompts were like, okay, you have to think of plants that have seeds specifically, of course. But if you were to take 5 seeds with you to
Ooh.
outer space,
Ooh.
because you would have to survive on that.
Does it have to be
yeah.
indigenous to the country we're
No,
at?
it
No,
doesn't
for
have
you,
to
for
be
you, for
anywhere.
yourself,
Just for
for
yourself.
yourself.
Just for yourself. Like thinking about your diet,
Yeah.
thinking
Wow,
about
that's
like
a good
what you
question.
eat. Like if you were to take 5 seeds with you to outer space, that was the first question she asked, and then you narrow down
Okay.
like
All right.
what would those be?
No, that's a great
So
exercise.
I
All right,
love
Mo.
talong, eggplant. I love kamote, sweet potato, strawberries. I love strawberries, blueberries as well. And my last one that I would take is probably malunggay.
Malunggay.
It's so healthy. I feel
That-
like malunggay will help me in life.
Oh wow, that
Your answers was fast. I took like 10 minutes. Being
Wow.
Like process of elimination.
all right. And how about you?
I'll probably have talong, tomatoes, okra, and malunggay also, and dalandan.
We all love malunggay, right? Because
Yeah.
malunggay
I love malunggay.
Malunggay. I love banana. Sorry, they have seeds, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Bananas
bananas,
have
yeah,
seeds.
yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously tomatoes as well.
Yes.
Talong's pretty good, and I'm not sure about my 5th one yet.
You guys
but
forgot one
I'm thinking
staple,
about mango.
potentially.
Corn.
Mango or
rice.
Rice.
O nga no. Wala eh. Actually, I didn't think about rice. I didn't think about rice. No, okay, wait. Sorry, that's such a great question
Wow.
because
Yeah.
when we talk about rice and all the varieties, especially
Yeah.
here in the Philippines,
Yeah, I didn't think about that at all.
did that come up in your?
Yeah, so one of the farmers that we actually interviewed is a rice farmer. He's trying to come up with his own like breeds of rice using already traditional native varieties. He's
Wow.
from Mindanao. Yeah.
Wow, you know what? I feel less Filipino because I forgot rice.
Same. I mean, at
That's
least I
insane.
had a
I
carb
feel like
with
because
me.
we're dieting, so rice is not
Hindi,
top of
actually.
your
No, alam mo, baka we take it for granted.
Baka,
Maybe we
yeah.
take it for
Yeah, because
granted.
it's everywhere.
Because we always think about rice, it's always part of it. Maybe we don't think about it enough.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Before we wrap up, that was so fun. Darn, we don't have any more prompts to do. I was like, we don't have time for that. But Mandy, can you invite our viewers to watch Hasik? And where can we watch it? Because I actually am so keen on seeing
Yes,
it.
you can watch it for free. It's just on YouTube.
Free is Anne's favorite
Yeah,
word.
you just have to search Hasek documentary and it's there. So on YouTube.
All right, check out
Amazing.
Hasik
Congratulations,
on
Mandy.
YouTube.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And that's a wrap for this week's Weather HQ. Don't miss us next week right here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Have a great weekend.